Hello, everyone. This is Akata Vesta. Thank you so much for coming back. Today, I have a very dear sister. A sister I started to connect right from the beginning when I joined the Galactic Astrology course. Even with our time differences, that I am in Italy, she is in Australia, we always find the time and the means to connect with each other. With her background, she is a holistic healer with many tools in her box, like crystal, palm reading, herb, flower essences. And above all that, she is also very expert in dowsing. And I learned it from her right from the beginning, which helped me greatly in my Galactic Astrology reading. That sometimes we may not receive the answers that we need through the clear abilities that we have, but with dowsing is a complement and it's an additional tools that is very useful. And with that, let's begin with her, Cherie MacDonald. Hello, sister.
So good to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you for having me on here.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I wanted you at the beginning, right at the beginning, but we couldn't find the time and the moments right. So I guess this is the right moment for us to do that.
Yeah.
And so, look, I know your story intimately, and I really want to bring it out. You are ready to share,
Okay.
like how you come to search for all these kinds of knowledges. And we know those are wisdom that was already in us. We only need to find it back. And so, yeah, I'll let you talk.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, I'm originally from New Zealand and I came over to Australia when I was about 7 years old. And I came from a background where my parents were divorced, and I used to go backwards and forwards to New Zealand as a child. Eventually, when I was 18, I went back to New Zealand and lived there for some time. And then I met my future partner, and we were involved at the time in the shearing industry. And for those of you who've been to New Zealand, you would know that pretty much every second person over there is either a farmer or they're a shearer or they've done some time in working with wool. So anyway, we came over to Australia and life went on. And I always looked at holistic stuff as a bit of a fence sitter. I'd always sort of look and go, oh, that's nice, and do nothing about it. And eventually I had children, and I had 3 under 3. And I started to get quite sick. And also my children had various things like my eldest would break out in a rash from penicillin and things like that, like from her head to her foot. There was food allergies. There was possibly something, I guess, at the time like ADHD that was cropping up. I had candida. I had really bad fatigue. There was a whole bunch of stuff, and there was also depression in amongst it. And of course, looking after 3 little kids, it was pretty intense. And my relationship as well was, pretty sour as well. So eventually I just kept putting it out there. I was looking for answers. And so eventually someone came along and I went to a few healing talks. Cindy O'Meara was one of them. She's pretty big here in Australia. She has a Changing Habits, Changing Lives business, which is pretty big. And she spoke about foods and taking out preservatives and additives and all that sort of thing. So I went down the path of doing that with the kids and got improvements. There were other people specializing in things like ADHD and diets, and I, did my research. I joined multi-level marketing companies like New Ways at the time, and became a real health, sort of speaker, getting up in front of people and talking about chemicals and substances, and like, and how, what better choices they could make, and and so it went on, and all the while just trying to look after three little kids and getting my health back on track, like looking after them. Eventually, I left my husband, and that was when I reckon the real journey started, because I was, had little kids, and of course, and I had to provide for them, and and at the same time, I was still looking for more answers. And eventually, I moved up to the Northern Rivers in New South Wales, which was where we originally came to when we first came to Australia back in the 70s. And it's, if you've been there, it's very, very high vibe, very, very spiritual. There's quite an eclectic bunch of people up there of all types. It's very earthy, that type of thing. And
Yes, Cherie, I really understand that. Moving to a new place with three young children is a struggle that not many can understand as a single woman to bring them up. And so when you move there, how you find your setting to settle and still keep on learning new things.
absolutely, look, it was tough, like, and I just had this overwhelming sense of, like, um, intuition that I just had to keep learning more alternative modalities to leave a legacy for my children, and to create one for myself, like for what I was passionate about. So the dowsing was something I didn't realize it at the time, but it would start to become something that was, basically the backbone of everything that I did. And along the way, I made mistakes, and I learned a heck of a lot about grounding, like along the way, and respect and intention, and hydration, and different ways and methods that I could use it. So, like lifting my life force, clearing negative energy, because when it was that all I could use it for was, divining and finding water. I never considered that it was a health and wellness tool, and basically it was a vehicle for truth.
Yes.
Because we live in a society now we're surrounded by frequency and a lot of misconception and fear and things like that. And the list is a little bit endless there, but to me it was something where I could really start to separate what was accurate, what was affecting me, how I could fix it, how I could improve my life, how I could improve my children's life, for our health and well-being in the present. I could heal some of the past, and I could go into the future stronger. So,
Yes, yeah, I think,
yeah.
and somehow through your experience, our experience in real life, we know the next person that come to us for help, we know how to relate to them as well. We know
Right.
what they need, so we can
Yep.
bring out different little tools that in our boxes to
Yep.
help them. That either that is crystal, that is dowsing, or palm reading that you also do, right?
Mm.
And another thing that I really love what you do is your ability, for instance, to talk with animals, to be able to tune in with animal and know their why they have certain illness. Like for instance, you told me an extremely beautiful story. Would you like to talk about
Yeah, like I've had experiences with animals, I had a natural skill that seemed, once I started, going down this path, I was able to clearly see past lives. It was sort of came through quite strongly, and when I started the Galactic Astrology course, and then when people became aware of my knowledge with dowsing, I did some clients and their animals, and as a way of like helping a few people out. And it looks, animals can have quite an experience in their past lives, as far as being really well connected to their owners, perhaps even being in a different body form in a past life. And even the way that they have died can actually be an event and a traumatic event that can come through energetically and affect them in this life. So by tuning into that, you can, and then clearing what needs to be addressed, you can really strengthen that animal, because a lot of us, when we've been healers in past lives and things like that, sometimes we can find that our animals as well have been on that journey in one form or another. So it's really fascinating.
But we ourselves, we must have also past life as animal.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
When I was I think like a month ago, when I couldn't move my left arm, and I make a clarion call in our Galactic Astrology group.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a dear sister. She never really like interact or reply anything, but she wrote to me in private, and she said, "I saw you with this left arm. You were once as an aquatic animal, and you
Mm-hmm.
were like hurt badly in that
Yep.
lifetime. I
Yep.
mean, we have been everything."
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
and and some of the wild dolphins, they come back as an aquatic animals as a choice, I think.
Yep. That's right. And it's when you, like you say, when you look in your galactic history and see where you've reincarnated, or where your soul has journeyed, and when you start to sort of, let's say you put up a chart of your self, and let's say a couple of your pets, because you can have a real connection to your animals. Do
Yes.
you know what I mean? And that journey can come through here in some form or another. And it blows my mind, like when you sort of start really looking in to see the alignments, and aspects of what he or she was in that life, whether you were the teacher or were they the teacher. What have they got to tell you in this life? Oh, I'm getting goosebumps, like, and things like, when there are certain things, like when you're from a galactic astrology perspective, or any holistic healer, you have a certain purpose with to do stuff, and sometimes those animals are there to tell you and help you if you tune into them, like, and help you on your journey. Yeah, just like any spirit guide, tune into your dog, tune into
Mhm.
your horse. They'll have something to tell you.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I tried, I think twice with animal. One was with a cat, another
Yep.
one with a horse, and the different frequency they gave out. And that cat in particular that I
Mm.
tuned in, my God, he he was so ancient,
Yep.
so ancient.
Yep.
And when I tuned into him, I felt so calm, like as if he was the one helping.
Mm. Yep.
And our connections, just like every connections, is not coincidence. And
Yep.
yeah,
That's right.
so
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so after that, you have been putting newer, some other skills, some other tools and into your package. And how you like bring in everything together at this moment in your life to help, for instance, a client, don't know, a
Yep.
friend, primary
Mm.
member.
Yep. Absolutely. So my services I offer, a range of packages, either online or in person, because um, that's just how I am. So whether it's someone's wanting help with, their immune system, or they're an energy check, whether they're wanting to, check the health of their home and business, perhaps they just want to look at things like soul and spirit guides, and purpose, or even their pets. And even putting up both, sort of, they might. I've had a client recently who came to me, and she also brought a photo of her pet, for the pet to have a reading as well, because it's pretty hard to get old Fluffy into the car. So, so and it's like I say, and then you're sort of really looking at sort of, the relationship that's between the owner and the pet, and perhaps there's something there to be addressed from the past, that can help them in the present time, and therefore it helps their health and their well-being. Yeah, it's and also looking at, the other thing I do with the dowsing is looking at, energetic interferences and attachments and vows and agreements that can have been put on people or animals, and properties as well. So it's a bit of a package. I was never going to be the girl that just wore one hat. So but I'm happy with that. I'm cool with that.
I think that we have to be one thing, and that thing alone doesn't really work now.
Yep.
That we are recalling really thousands of lifetimes that we have, that
Yep.
the wisdom we have gone through, and why limit us
Yep.
just to one
That's
thing?
Yep.
Mm.
Absolutely. Because one of the things with dowsing, and like when it comes to health and wellness, I mean, you can change, energy follows thought. So, and it's a tool that you can use to, enhance. Let's say you're taking supplements or medication, so you can neutralize the bad effects in the medication, for example, and lift up the frequency of what you're taking. That's one way. You can energize water.
Yes.
You can energize the products that you're putting on your skin, or you can make a better choice and see which one's having a negative effect and which one's actually having a positive effect. What herbs do I need today? That sort of
Mm.
thing. What foods are best for my body that are going to nourish me? Like, even things like allergies and skin conditions and injuries. There's the list is imagination. You know, it's a real what if, or can I? And yes, you can. Absolutely.
I think with time goes on that people really start to understand this body
Mm.
is our temple,
Yeah.
that we have been putting in so much toxin
Yeah.
into here,
Yeah.
and people like you will with so much knowledge and wisdom and understanding everyone from with their true essence, what they really need is going to be really important. And
Absolutely.
I guess one of the reasons we are here today, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And so, is there anything that you want to add before we close? And like how you see your future life, for instance, in the
Yeah.
next few months, we are going through. Like, I know your chart. I know you and I, we both going through big
Yep.
shift.
Yep.
Any anticipation for the near future?
I'm excited. I'm really excited for the future, especially with, you know, when I look at where things have really taken off in the last 12 months, like, you know, connecting with everybody in the galactic astrology and, you know, and throughout the group and creating videos on teaching people. And then ultimately that's led to, you know, going into teaching, doing workshops. So I've got some online workshops about to start soon, as well as in person. So I'm starting to do there's about 4 locations around Australia that I'll do for workshops. I'm really excited about travelling to New Zealand later this year to connect with a dear sister over there and offer some workshops there. And of course, and as you know, I've got bigger plans early next year, to travel to the States and connect with some more dear sisters. And do some more workshops and hopefully some clients as well. So, you know, I'm looking forward to the journey and the connections. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
The
can't
day
wait.
that I can hug you, I will
Yep.
cry. I will
Me too.
continue to be the crying baby.
Yep. And then we'll get hold of Dana and Lisa and a few others. You know,
Oh,
like, would be good.
oh yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yay.
Oh, high vibration all over me.
Yep.
We will have
Yep.
this chance. We will make it happen because we can.
But basically, you know, dowsing is a tool of empowerment, and that's what my business is about. It's about empowering yourself, your family, your home, your present, and where you're going into the future. And that's all there is, and that's what we need.
Yeah. Oh, how much I love you.
Love you too.
Okay. Before I start crying.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, podcast. Yep.
And yes,
Thank
I will
you.
leave all her information in the description box so you know where to find her. And see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.